Tony, Cal said at the teleconference yesterday that recent practices have been especially tough, and that he reverted to his UMass days. What can you differentiate the Cal UMass days to the Cal Kentucky days?
He needs to revisit his visiting of his UMass days because it wasn't quite close to how he was back then. But no, they've been intense and physical. You know, you're starting fresh. What you did in the non-conference does not matter when you start conference play. It doesn't matter who you play. It doesn't matter the records, the schedules. You throw them out the window when anybody can beat anybody on any night, on any court, home or away. So he just wanted to get these guys back refocused, coming off a good win against Louisville. And now we just wanted to move on to what's ahead of us, and that starts with Missouri.
Even if he doesn't quite get there, when Cal starts talking about doing things like he did at UMass, is that when you sense that he is, sort of laser focused, or feels like the team really needs kind of a kick in the
Yeah, and I
pants?
think it's always been his kind of philosophy that after a win like we had, you don't want to let the guys rest on their laurels and get too comfortable. So he wanted to maintain their attention, as we had in the conference play. I think that was the biggest thing he was trying to get across, that we've got to move on from that last game and now focus on what's ahead and not get carried away with reading our news clipping, so to speak.
Tony, how do you think Khalil responded to not playing very much against Louisville, and what do you guys need from him?
He's been great, and he's working his tail off. And he's a typical freshman. We've had so many atypical freshmen that people think that's the norm and that's the standard. Those guys that we've had that have come in and produced like they have right away, that's not normal. And he's as talented as those guys. He's just struggling with some areas of the game, and he's working his tail off in the video room, on the practice floor, before and after. So his breakthrough is coming, and his attitude's been great about it too, because we need everybody on this team for us to achieve at a level we think we all can, and he's a big part of that.
How specifically would you like to see him work on?
It's all across the board. There's no specific area. It's offense, it's defense, it's attention to detail things that maybe he wasn't forced to think about before he got here. But those little details are now important because every possession matters, and you can't let one possession slip on either end of the floor with, say, it's a bad shot or a broken down defensive assignment. Whatever the case is, you've got to be able to move on to the next play. And so those are some of the things that we're working on with him.
There were points in that game where EJ was getting pushed out by guards from the post. How do you get a meaner EJ on the floor?
We're working on it right now. This team needs it. And we've been working on it. We've been talking to him about it. And I think with EJ, it's just he's got to have a self-belief, because we believe in him, and he's got to look in that mirror and see what we think he should be. And sometimes I think he questions that. So if he gets more confident, and the proof is in the pudding, he did it the last 5 minutes of the game when you really needed it. He went and did it. He was physical. He reacted. He wouldn't block shots out of nowhere. He defended a guy on the perimeter that was going by him to start the game, and at the end of the game, the guy couldn't get by him. He's capable of it. So that when we look at that, you say it's a confidence deal with EJ. He's got to believe he can do it for the majority of the time he's out there.
He did that at the end of the first half of the Utah game. You guys are down 12. He says, "Give me the ball." Hits 3 straight jumpers. At the very end of that game, he dives on the floor for an offensive rebound and gets the timeout. Is it just that in crunch time he stops thinking and it's all instinct, or do you have any feel for why?
That could be it. I mean, I just think he's, sometimes doing those things, it's uncomfortable. But you've heard it around here a bunch. You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and he likes to play in a comfort zone. And if you stay in a comfort zone, you're never going to grow. Well, for him to grow, he's got to step out of that and do it all the time and do it full time.
Tony, when you look at Missouri, what kind of challenges is it?
It's a Conzo Martin coach team. I mean, they're going to be physical. They're going to be tough. They're going to be hard-nosed. Obviously, you got the veteran with Tillman back in the middle, who's as big in the physical presence as there is, not just in our conference, but in the country. They've got really good guard play, and they've played a really, really hard schedule. So it's going to be a challenge. And I think, Coach has done a good job of keeping the guys' attention this week in between games.
Tony, everybody says conference is different from non-conference. How so? What will be new for the freshmen? that they haven't experienced already against Michigan State, Louisville, Ohio State?
There's so many veteran teams, veteran coaches in this league that when teams go on the road, they're not intimidated by, say, our arena or our atmosphere or our tradition because they come here every year as opposed to non-conference play. And Missouri has some really good veteran players, so they're not going to be intimidated by what we bring to the table. So our guys, if we play how we play, we'll be fine. But we can't be looking backwards. We can't be looking ahead. We got to be focused on what's in the moment because they're going to come to play.
One other thing I'm still intrigued by the Cal from UMass days. How maniacal was he?
He was very intense, more intense than he is now, even now.
Really?
Yeah.
How did this show itself?
Just how the details that he might let go by in a game or in a practice. When he wants to rev it up, it's every step you take. There was something you did wrong, and he's going to let you know about it. And so that's how you get your attention. That we're not where we want to be, but we got to get better.
How difficult was that for you to adjust to, or was it?
Not at all. That was hard-headed. He'll tell you that.
Coming off the game that Nick had Saturday, what's he been like in practice? Is it still consistent, or?
He's been good. He's been good, but we need carryover. You know, I think that's one of the things Nick has struggled with is consistency. He's done it in spots. But to be the kind of player he wants to be, where he's trying to take himself to, his game to, where he wants to go with this game, he's got to be able to do it on an everyday basis. And that's not just game to game, that's practice to practice. And that's what brings it out. And this week he's been great. And I think his confidence is building off of what he did, off of against a really good Louisville team and a really good big kid that he did it against.
Cal said that Nick, when he went against Utah, their bigs weren't as good as Ohio State's, as Louisville's. But Nick didn't. Why didn't he why didn't he excel even more against them? Why do you think?
Good question. Is Nick coming out next? Yes. So Nick will be out here. You can ask him. I don't have that answer.
Tony, what did Tyrese do in this Louisville that maybe he wasn't doing in some of the other games?
Made shots.
I mean, did it just come down to that?
Yeah, he's such a great kid that sometimes he goes with the flow, but that's not the Tyrese this team needs. We need him in attack mode every single game, every single possession. That doesn't necessarily mean he shoots it every time because he is a willing passer. We just need him aggressive to make plays for this team.
He seems like a guy who thrives when the spotlight's brightest. Is that just part of the freshman learning process to figure out how to do that all the time?
Yeah, that's the consistency we're talking about with freshmen. They come and go, and we've had some atypical freshmen who've been able to maintain that. But this year we've got more normal freshmen that we're trying to help them grow to understand what that means every day. But it comes with the habits that you develop in practice. If you bring them every day in practice, that means you're going to play great, maybe in terms of scoring every game, but you're going to be there in terms of the attention to detail.
You talked about Tillman. What about Mark Smith earning score and Javon Pickett's had some big games for them? Like, what do they bring to the table?
No, they've got a really good team all around. They sometimes they'll play 3 and 4 guards at a time, which is a difficult matchup. And we're playing traditional with our bigs. And Mark Smith is one of the best shooters in the country. All of their guards attack well off the dribble, so it's going to be a hard matchup. So. We've been watching a lot of tape. We've been working on a lot of things in practice to get ready for Missouri because we know the challenge they bring.
Another one on Nick, Tony. He seemed to play with a lot of emotion. We're not quite used to seeing that from him. He's usually kind of stone
I agree.
Robert Parrish type out there. What is that something you guys have tried to bring out a little more in him on the court?
Yeah, I keep saying the word. I think with Nick too, it's been a confidence deal. And it's why he's more reserved on the court, doesn't want to step out to put himself out there because now you're accountable to do that every day. And if we can get that Nick, it wasn't us throwing the ball to him every possession. He defended at a high level. He rebounded at a high level. Those offensive rebounds he got in that game were huge. And I think he felt that success, which brought out that emotion. So, with performance, comes a reward. And so we need more big performances like that from him.
When you have a guy like that who over 3 years, it's up, it's down, it's a struggle, he doesn't get it right away. You think he breaks through and then he doesn't. As coaches, when you see a guy like that do what he did in a game of that magnitude, like, are you guys high-fiving and hugging each other, afterwards, or texting each other or whatever.
We were high-fiving and hugging him is what we were doing. I mean, he's such a beautiful kid. I mean, you want him to babysit your kids. He's that kind of, everybody on campus loves him. But I've always said in this game, you can have an alter ego when you step on that floor. You can be whatever you want to be on that floor, but it can't be a nice guy. And he decided not to be so nice this last game.
All right, guys, anything else?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.